Well, greetings everyone. We are in the middle of August and looking ahead to the fall months. We have Chris Snavely from Snavely's Garden Corner with us to talk a little bit about some of the vegetation you can plant this time of the year and that can liven your garden up and provide fresh produce for you, I guess, if you will, during the fall season. Thank you so much for joining us, Chris.
Happy to do that.
So I understand there are some vegetables like cauliflower and cabbage that can be planted this time of the year. Specifically, when should those be planted and when would they reach their peak?
The opportunity to plant what are called cole crops, C-O-L-E, cole crops, is actually something that could have occurred in the very latter days of July, and then all of August is an opportunity to plant them as well. You've got something about 50 or so days to a harvest for those crops, and should understand that they love the cool weather of the fall. So planting them when it's really warm seems contrary, but they will, with the cooler nights of September and so forth, typically flourish, and by October you should be picking some of those crops.
Now, would an early season light frost impact these crops at all?
No, it doesn't. They're not bothered by frost, and so actually will take a fair amount of cold temperature before they're disturbed at all. So it wouldn't be at all a surprise that you would still be finding some of these excellent cabbages, cauliflower, that sort of thing in the garden even in November. So you might be picking them for your Thanksgiving dinner.
That's great to hear. I do understand they do require a lot of water, so even if we have a dry early fall season, you would still want to water these regularly. Is that correct?
That's right. You do, without a question. You must keep them evenly moist, and I think there really is very little other concern. There are two pests that you have to watch out for. The one that really bothers people are cabbage worms, or the little white butterflies that you see fluttering around in the garden. Produce a caterpillar that it has a voracious appetite, and those you must control. There are some good organic materials that won't bother you, don't harm people at all, that allow you to do that. And the second would be aphid. There are a couple of strains of aphid that may come to bother, but again, fairly controllable. So keeping them watered and keeping an eye out for those two pests are the two big jobs.
What about deer?
Yes, I can't tell you that they wouldn't enjoy a little coleslaw.
One final question here is, there's some other flowers that can be planted this time of the year that would bloom in the garden in the fall season. Is that correct?
In both fall and spring. So some of the good fall planted flowers would of course include violas and pansies. A lot of people know that. But also things like snapdragons, can work dianthus, things that will actually overwinter. They'll take frost, they'll take the cold of winter, and come back in the spring and start again. Pansies are noted for that, and you see a lot of them planted in the fall, anticipating that they will be back out in late February, March, April, and May before they get tired of getting warm in the summer. So excellent time to plant them without fear of the cold.
Excellent. Very good. Well, thank you so much for that great information. And of course, we had some sufficient rain here recently, which has helped things, and we'll have the sunflowers that will be blooming. Thank you so much for joining me, Chris.
Happy to do that.